Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there, welcome back.
Welcome back, guys. As always, want to thank the Patreons for their support. Exclusive videos going up over there every single week, and you can join the family over there for as little as $1 a month. And we want to just again thank you guys for your support.
Much appreciated.
So I just felt the need to do a separate video on this. You have 177 lost in South Korea's worst ever aviation disaster. There was two people that survived. There were two people that survived, two crew members, a male and a female, and are hospitalized as we make this. They were in the tail section, the only part that was still intact. This was a high-speed runway crash, and this was Jeju Air Flight 2216 from Bangkok to Muon, South Korea. So Bangkok, Thailand to South Korea. Crashed and caught fire after a bird strike reportedly caused landing gear malfunction, forcing the pilots to land the jet on its belly. The pilots could not burn off enough airspeed during the landing approach, and the flaring process during landing resulted in the aircraft going up. A horrible, horrible tragedy. Again, we send positive energy prayers to the families and to those beings that have now suddenly transitioned into a new state of being. There have been 4 events in the last week, really 3 in a day. Sad week for air travel. This is one of the busiest weeks of the year when you look at the period of the holidays. So more flights in the air, absolutely. These happened in very, very different locations. Azerbaijan, plane crashed in Kazakhstan. You have a 737 that we were just talking about crashing in South Korea. Air Canada flight skidded off the runway. Part of it caught fire. You had a KLM jet diverted to Oslo after it lost hydraulics. Very weird. It just doesn't feel... it feels like too much for coincidence. Maybe it is just all coincidence. As you see here from the sun, Air Canada plane spits flames in another horror landing as 2 more aircraft malfunction on night of South Korea crash. The same night as the devastating South Korean air disaster, 2 more planes had terrifying landings in different parts of the world. This man was freaking out so much the passengers tied him down because they were worried about him creating issues, breaking a window, trying to open a door. Again, some people will act very illogically. And again, it depends so much of the time on the substances in their bodies. Oh yeah, this is very, very weird. And it feels like there's a lot more going on than meets the eyes. So Air Canada flight going from St. John's to Halifax threw the passengers into turmoil as it crashed down the runway. Meanwhile, thousands of miles away in Norway, another jet dodged disaster as it came skidding off the runway following a suspected hydraulics failure. The plane in Norway was a Boeing 737-800, same type of jet which crashed in South Korea. The horror footage shows one of Air Canada's wings erupt in a ball of fire on its descent as the flyers look on in terror. Plane can be seen beginning to spark and then quickly catches fire that pulsates in the wind. They can be seen inside holding on for dear life as the flight comes dangerously close to disaster. And you can see the interior starting to come apart. It's believed that one of Air Canada's flight's AC-2259's tires failed to deploy during the landing, which sent the aircraft careening along the tarmac at a reported 20-degree angle. Passenger Nikki Valentine told CBC News the plane started to sit at about a 20-degree angle to the left, and we heard a loud crash sound as the wings skidded along the pavement along with what I presume to be the engine. The plane shook quite a bit, and we started seeing fire on the left side of the plane, and smoke started coming out of the windows, into the windows. Somehow, no reported fatalities or major injuries. This was really kind of amazing, to see all these going on at a time when we're looking in the sky at drones and UAPs, and I think it's natural to just, again, wonder, does that whole fiasco have anything to do with this? And this is KLM Flight 1204 skidding off the runway after emergency landing at Torp Airport, 737 Boeing, again, 800, same thing, en route from Oslo, Norway to Amsterdam, when it experienced a hydraulic failure. So again, issues in which a plane would be landing on the belly. Very, very curious. What's really going on here? When it comes to the one in Azerbaijan, literally, what we have is an apology from Putin. He apologizes over the deadly plane crash. The flight from Azerbaijan suffered an incident in Russian airspace during a Ukrainian drone raid, the Kremlin has said. So it happened with Russian defenses obviously trying to shoot down drones that they say came from Ukraine. So here you have a connection of one sort to drones. Now this is known. This is a little different than the ones we've been seeing all around the world that are completely unknown, and wondering, whose military are they? Are they the U.S.'s, China's, Russia's? Somebody else. Let's just leave it at that, right? Well, here you have an apology. 42 citizens were lost in the crash. It's been declared national mourning for the victims. So Putin reiterated his deep and earnest condolences to the families of the people who were killed and wished the survivors swift recovery. And, this is one of them that they're giving us an explanation, but the others, no explanation at all. And, I also always look at these things with airplanes just because of what Cindy had gotten in channeling years ago. When we were looking into the future, we saw a time when there's zero airplanes carrying passengers around Earth.
And I keep going back to that too, because we were not told, of course, how this occurred. We were just told, okay, your guys' skies are going to be empty, and they're actually going to be blue and beautiful, and they're going to be quiet. So I don't know, how is this unfolding? How is this occurring? And every time I see things happen to planes in the air, and the planes being tampered with, and people who are whistleblowers losing their lives over blowing those whistles, it makes me wonder, how important is it that they get these planes out of the air? And when I say they, I mean the controllers, because this is all very, very controlled, in my humble opinion. And when I look into this incident, I feel a lurking of energies going about and causing problems, causing mayhem. But how exactly is this occurring? I'm not getting that information. I'm just getting that feels like there's deliberate things going on, and it's not innocent, and it's not just an accident. So that could occur many different ways, but definitely I feel the deceit, and I feel so sorry for the innocent people that were on board. Also makes me wonder who else was on board. Are there key people that were, possibly going to be witnesses for something? We've seen that before, that wouldn't be the first time something like that's happened. So we'll just kind of watch and pay attention and see how things go. If I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure this is a safe time to travel. Astrologically speaking, it should be a safe time to travel. So these incidences, when I see that, it just makes them more strange and not natural.
Yeah, absolutely. It feels like there's something else going on here. In this case, it's an obvious one, or at least this is what's being given as the obvious. thing that happened, but it isn't necessarily what really happened. Or is there something else that they're covering up with this? Again, in this time, we realize, a bigger portion of the world realizes you can't trust anything that the media tells you. This this gentleman, the video here, he's inside that Azerbaijan plane crash that happened over in Kazakhstan. The whole time he's just saying his prayers, and again he's praying to Allah. This person says Allah kept him alive, and I would disagree. I think he kept him alive. Again, it's your intent. It's not whether you're going to sending your energy to Allah, to Yeshua, to a generic God per se. It's your intent, it's putting out that energy. So when you find yourself in any sort of difficult situation, be it weather or something like this or anything at all, put your intent out there, verbalize it, because again, this world at a quantum level responds to our thoughts, it responds to our words, and ask for help. You could just generically say, all the benevolent angelic beings that are trying to help and guide me, please, I need your help now, help us through this. And he survived. So it was, very, very touching to see that. And again, it has nothing to do with dogma. There are miracles that come through with people of all religions and faiths. It has nothing to do with dogma. Again, you could even see that in the Bible itself, where Yeshua, Jesus will say your faith, your belief, that's it. That's what has saved you. That is what healed you. And so that's something to take out of all this. As you see this little guy, he's just saying, hey, it's time to fill the bowl, and maybe I'll take a ride while I go get that bowl filled.
Yeah, I know. And when our pups see a bowl, they'll definitely slam it and they'll say, it's time for me to eat. So this little guy's learning how to do that, how to make noise with your bowl to get fed. He's a cutie. Plus he does tricks too.
Absolutely. So as always, guys, thanks for your support. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe if you do enjoy content like this. Namaste.
Namaste.